Hi, and welcome to week 7 in this Stitch Circle Show Challenge. My name is Lisbeth and I'm the host for this Dogma Rule Challenge. Before we begin, there is a few things that I would like to say. First of all, use what you have of materials. I don't expect you to buy new things for this challenge. If I use a specific thing you don't have, try to replace it with something similar. Second, I hope you will do the best you can, but try to stick to the rules of this challenge. And this is because I think it is so nice or funny or lovely, or what word I should use, to see all the different things you are making following the same Dogma rules. And I think you would also would think it is nice to see all the different things that will hopefully be making by following the same rules. The third thing I want to say is you can do the Dogma rules here in any size you want. I have chosen a specific size here. I have in this book, I have made by a simple way, and I will put a link below in the under more. You can find this there, but you don't have to do it in a book like this. You can do them in a scroll instead, on a long strip of fabric, or you can put them in a box and save them there, or you can buy a sketchbook and put them in there. You do exactly with them what you want to do. It isn't you don't have to do it like this. It is free what you want to do with your pieces. And the fourth thing I want to say is, I have a Facebook group called Dogma, it is called in Danish Dogma Broderi / in English Dogma Embroidery, and I will also put a link below here under the little word more. And if you want to show what you're doing, please be a member of the group. But to be a member, you have to answer 3 questions, I think. And if you don't answer the questions, I won't let you in the group. It's quite simple questions to answer, so it isn't difficult. But if you don't answer them, I won't let you in the group. And I already have about 39 people, not 39, 29 people hanging there who hasn't answered the questions. And if you're one of them, answer the questions and I would let you in at once. But this, I think, is all I want to say here today. You probably already know me because you are here on my channel. So yeah, I don't think there is any more I want to say right now. So let us begin here. And this is where I left you last time. And the things I have come up with today is, for my point of view, because I want my spreads to look nice together. So I would do something I think will end up looking nice beside this one. But you don't have to do that if you're not putting your things in a book. But that is just me. But enough of me talking, so let us begin. So away with this and onto the rules. And I will also write the rules here down under the little word more, and they will also be in the Facebook group. But first, I want you to get a piece of watercolor paper or piece of cardstock if you don't have watercolor paper, and paint it in the color you think looks like a night sky. You can use watercolor, or you can use acrylic paint diluted. Use what you have, markers, Posca pens, or whatever you want to use. And then when it is dry, because if it's watercolor it has to dry, you have to trace a circle in any size you want and cut it out. That was the first rule. The second rule is to punch a lot of holes in the circle, and I will show you different ways when we begin. And the third rule is to do our overcast stitches all around the holes and all the holes you have in your circle. And I will also show you that. And I want you to use a light color thread. So a quite dark circle and light color thread. That is the 4 rules for this week 7. It will be more clear perhaps when I start doing the way I want to do it, but yeah, let us begin. So I will start with the first rule, and this is painting this piece of paper, and I have chosen to use watercolor, some graphite colors here, and I will put some water on the blue one. That is the one I want to use. So I will just paint this. And you can say, why don't you cut the circle out first? And that is because when I punch the holes there will be a lot of white, and I don't want some extra paper on the back when you punch through, and I don't like that, so that is why I hopefully will get rid of that doing it this way here. And I know I want to do this circle, so this is big enough now. And I think I will have a little darker places somewhere, so it isn't so solid. But that is up to you. And this is the way I see a night sky. Perhaps where you live it looks differently, and then you can try to paint that. So I will let this dry before we can go any further. So this is so dry I can work further on it. So I have my templates here, and if you don't have a template like this, use a compass or use a cup or a plate or something you found in your kitchen. But since I have used this size here a lot on the other circles in my book, I think I want to do a little smaller one this time, so it won't be the same sizes. So again, I will just, you can see I have chosen to put it there where there's quite dark and light instead of there. So there is a little difference here in the color. So I will just trace it like this and cut it out. And that is not a hard thing to do. My sky could have been even more black. So away with that there, then it is easier to cut. And if you end up with some pencil line, you can always erase it afterwards. That doesn't matter so much, like this. So away with that, and perhaps I can find a, let me see here if I have a eraser. I have so many things on my table, but you probably all have that. There was a little there, and there perhaps, and both. It away. So now you have this fine little circle here, And there are many ways you can punch hole into such a circle here. You can use such a thing here you use for leather work. Mine is a very old one, and I want to use this size hole here, I think, but this doesn't work very well. You can always also use such a thing here, like this, and I will just punch a hole there. You can see it was quite easy. But both of these things here, and you can also use such a punch thing like this here. But the only thing that isn't nice with these things is you can't only reach a certain way in here. You can't go into the middle. And for that I will suggest you take a needle and mark it through, and then you have a hole here, and then you can always take a knitting needle or something and push it through. And this is what I mean by there will be some extra paper on the back, and these spurs isn't so nice if they are white, but most of them will be covered up. So now you can punch as many holes as you like, totally random, and you can do it in any sizes you want. I don't think you should do such big holes, but it is up to you. You can punch them wherever you like and however size you want to punch them. But this is the way you can do it. The one I did there, if I want to make it bigger, I have such a thing here. I don't know if you in other countries know such a thing here, but here in Denmark we had, in the old times, on the farms, the women were sewing white embroidery, and they were sewing specific areas here on Sjælland, where I live. They sewed something called hedebo sewing, and hedebo is an area on Sjælland, and they use these pins to make holes for buttons, and making the buttons on these. You take your yarn and you wrap it around and round and round, take it off, and then you do a ring of blanket stitches, for instance. So this stick is used for that, and you can also put that through here and use such a pin here. But I will punch my holes here. I can see it isn't perhaps the easiest thing to see here on this. I will find another piece of paper and put under here so you better can see what I'm doing. But I will punch my holes and show you the rule number 4. So I think this is enough holes for now. You can always make more if you when you have sewn the first ones, if you want more holes. And you can see the burst here, and you can always cut a little of them off. But I will promise you they will be nice when you start stitching. But take the worst of it away if you want to, and just massage this a little, then it will be fine round again, like this. Yeah, I think you can see what I'm doing here. So I will get some thread and a needle and show you how I sew them. The women who did the hedebo sewing also had something to poke holes with in the fabric. They are used for fabric and not paper. But this one I could also have used and put it in there and pushed it through, so, like this. But it's an old tool, and it is quite pointy here, you can see. But that's also a nice thing, and I'm lucky I have these 2 old tools. But yeah, enough of that. Let's start sewing. So onto the sewing, and there are a few things I would recommend, but of course it is up to you. First of all, a very sharp pointy needle is the best, because you have to poke holes in the paper. And also if you have a flat yarn of some kind, it is nice. But if you don't have that, I will think it is best to have a little thicker thread, because you have to do a lot of stitching to cover that hole, and it is quite easy to punch holes where there's holes already when you do it in paper. It's a little different than if you're doing it in fabric, or on fabric. Perhaps I can come a little closer. Yeah, let us see if that is better. So I will start with one of the holes that are poked nice and clean and have no of these bows on the back. And I come up from the back, and then I let my thread dangle there, and then I just stitch or poke, go down there, poke a hole and put my needle through, and then I come up here again in the big hole and as close as I can punch through again, and I try to have the end running inside here on the back so I can cut it off when I've done some stitches, because I don't want a big fat knot on my back here. So you can see it is just regular overcast stitches, and I'm just moving my way around the hole like this. But you can make them as short as or as long and as tight and as neat as you want. That is totally up to you. So it is just going round and round and round. And yeah. And you can see this is hanging there at the end, so I am going around it every time I come up here, so I secure it that way. Up here. It is quite different to stitch in paper than in fabric, but I really like doing it. So I hope you will give it a try. But if it is totally impossible for you, you can of course do it in fabric. So now this is secured, so I can cut this off here. And remember to cut the right one and not the one you're sewing with. But yeah. And I can feel there is a knot or something here on my paper, and it isn't paper. I don't know what it is made of, but there is a knot, so I will have to be a little careful. Yeah, I can feel it. It is hard to come through here, the hole, but that is the sound where the knot is going through the paper. If you don't like it or don't want to do it like that, you must start a new thread. But I think I dare to do it. And I don't know if you can see, I think there's missing something there. So you can just go back and punch a little further down there and put your thread through there. I like to cover most of the paper, but again, do it like you want to do it. But I will continue this way all the way around and show it to you when I'm done this little circle. And then I can try to start one of these with where I have poked the hole with the knitting needle and the other things, and where there's this burrs on the back, and they can end up quite neat and round too. So I have been all the way around, so I will just take my needle and go through here, and then it is secured and won't be running anywhere like that. And I think this looks quite nice. So let us do, you see if I'm behind, the knot is away now, so the smaller the needle, the smaller holes you make in the paper, and the easier it is not to hit the same hole again. So I will just take a new piece of thread, and if you're wondering what it is for a thread I'm using, I have been a member of the Danish Yarn Association for many years, and that is where I have bought the yarn, and you can look at their website. It is called yarn.dk, but you have to again be a member to buy their yarns, but they have all kinds of interesting and exciting different yarns. So I think I would make this a little bigger. So now I have these burrs on the back, so I will cut a little of them off. But yeah, it's okay. So again, I will come up. Whoops. Yeah. Let that dangle there and in there. And go down. Come up. Your needle to round here, but it isn't any different than the other one I was making. It is just a cozy little project this here. One thing you of course should take care of is that you don't make these as long as so they get over in the other one of the other holes, but I don't think any of my holes are sitting, so yeah, there it can be a problem, perhaps not a problem, but then I would have one of them to be a small circle, so they don't hit each other there. Or of course you can overlap them, that is also an option. I think I try to think as many things before I start a project like this or a challenge like this, but sometimes things I haven't been thinking of emerge here while I'm doing it, and that can lead to another thing. But I think this is secured now, so again I will cut this off. So I will also continue that all the way around. But I can also tell you that before I start videoing such stitch circle show project here. I have always tried to do it myself before I start filming, so I know it is possible to do. So this is my test piece. I didn't bother to paint it, and I have used another color thread, but it is exactly the same. And you can see the burst there on the back. So it is possible to do that too, but that was just so I could be sure that it is possible for you to do it. But now let us concentrate on the one that's going to be in my book when I'm done. So I don't know, it would take a little time to make all these holes. So if you don't have much time, make fewer holes. And if it is something you really like, make as many holes and as big as you want, and place them as random as you can. I think that would be nice. And what I mean about a flat thread, you can see it is easier to cover with a thicker or a flat thread instead of a thin thread, because you haven't much space to stitch in here. Else you perhaps will be stitching into a hole that already is there. And again, you can see I think there's too long between these two, so I will just go in the middle of them and a little further down like that. And you can always give them a little massage and make them lie nice. And you think the hole in the middle is going to turn out quite round also. Yeah, but I will stitch a little more and a little more circles and show you some more in a while. For you it's not a while, that will be in a couple of seconds, but for me it would take some time to sew a little more. I just wanted to show you that you can see this hole here ended up quite nice round, even though it had all those extra paper on the back side and wasn't so neat to see, but it would end up round. So again, I will just secure this one here and go on to the next. So I am slowly progressing here. It isn't the quickest embroidery or sewing you can do, but it is so nice to sit here just with your needle and your thread and let your thoughts go in walkabouts. So I would just show you how far I had come, but I think I will do the last 3.5 here, and then I will show it to you when it's done. I can see here. Yeah. The only thing to consider when you're doing your holes randomly isn't you don't get too close to the edge here, and you don't make your holes too close to each other. I have managed here, but it was quite close to the edge. But yeah, it depends on how wide you want it or how good you are at this kind of stitching. So I will continue. Holy Moses, that was a lot of stitching, but I think it looks really nice. So securing the ends here like this. So done with that, and it looks like this. Of course you can here when you peek through the holes there's white. I don't know if it looks different if I cut a black circle out and put behind. Perhaps I should try to do that. Yeah, but I can also show you, if you by accident push a hole where you don't want a hole, for instance, I can poke there and now there's a hole. You can always go on the back and take your nail and squeeze it out and put a little water on your finger, and there you can hardly see where it was. So that way you can fix a hole there was a mistake. Yeah, but what else? Yeah, I don't think there's any more things to say about this. I will cut a black circle out and put it under, and let us see how it looks in my book. I have cut a black circle out so you can see how it looks, and it looks like this. And if I take the black circle away, it looks like this. And I think I like it most without the white circle. But some of you perhaps is screaming out there, take those black circle, but I don't think I will do that. But which way is it going to be? I think something like this here. So again, I will just take my double-sided tape. If you don't mind stitching on the back of your page here, you can sew it down. That is also an option. So I will just squeeze it down here. And oh, that is a scary part here. I always hate to remove this, and the tape should be sitting. Oh, there it is. Yeah, how lucky can I be? I'll take it out here, and I can see they're sitting a little there, so I will cut it. And I will try to center it, so I will stand up. Sorry for the noise, but it is a little difficult with, I think there. So I will just squeeze it down and let it sit. I think this was a nice challenge with some fine rules, and I hope you like it too. Normally I would write the rules here on the back side, but there isn't much room here, so I will just write week 7. That must be all. And if I can't remember what I was doing, I can always look on the video or on the Facebook group and look there. So I hope you have been enjoying your stitching, and or will enjoy your stitching, and will come up with some nice pieces here. And please remember to share them in the Dogma Rule group. I'm so looking forward to see what you come up with, all of you stitchers. But I will say take care and be creative, and bye bye until next Thursday, where I hopefully will come up with a new challenge. And I think perhaps we need a little more color. It has been not with many colors so far, but that's perhaps because it's me. I'm not the most colorful person when I'm doing stuff, but we will have to see if we can put a little color in. But bye bye for now.